Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, thank you for joining me in this conversation. I think, given your background, the work that you do, and your experience with teams, leading teams, you would have a lot of golden nuggets to share with
Mm.
listeners. You know, you're so experienced with people. So, give me a quick overview of who you are and what you do, Itopa.
Okay. So thank you for having me. Really, and that introduction is great. I'm not sure how much nuggets I'll be able to give, but I'm happy to give this a shot to share where I've been, and hopefully how can also it also help me to reflect on
Yeah.
where I could be going. I'm Itopa Sule. I work here as an agile coach. Um, I actually started as a software engineer some years back.
Mhm.
As I begin to grow in the career, I begin to work with teams. I became a project manager. At some point, I set up a small company where I was now in between my clients and my development team.
Mhm.
So I realized that my skills as a developer, as a programmer, were not enough to
Right.
manage a team of developers.
Mhm.
So the first thing that I was looking for was how can I manage the projects on behalf of my clients to make sure they are done on time. So I started looking for information on that. That's how I got into leading teams from that perspective.
Nice.
Um, Few years down the line, I came to Canada and I had the option of going to my software background or going for project management. I decided to go with project management. It was also one line that has certification that you could show people that
Right.
uh, you have some skills in this with some benefit of doubt. So
Mhm.
that's how I got into project management here, and then later into agile coaching as the entire technology space was changing, was becoming more humane in the way and manner that we manage projects and teams. So trying to use the coaching approach
Yep.
to this.
Yep.
So that's how I became an agile coach. And
Brilliant.
today, I'm also happy that I have I've been working hard in deepening my coaching knowledge.
Mhm.
So it's become a passion for me also.
Oh, good. And I'm sure it's helped you with the diversity of teams that you work with. I'm sure the coaching tools help.
Definitely. So it's almost opposite of project management. In project management, even though you're not the specialist, you have the positional authority
Right.
to dictate how things are going to be done.
Yes.
Sometimes we also um, overestimate our ability to
Mhm.
forecast into the future.
Mhm.
And we cause a lot of frustration for people who are trying to meet that our forecast that we have done. in
Sounds
the,
familiar.
so coaching is exactly opposite of that,
Yeah.
where you're not pretending to know it all. You're actually stepping back and enabling those who know it
Mhm. Mhm.
to determine how it's done. So
Nice.
it's a whole new world for me when I discovered this.
It's a supportive role, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So, one of the first things I want to chat with you about today is, and I've been coaching some of the younger leaders, is during COVID, trying to work with teams, trying to manage teams, mentor teams. It's very tough doing it virtually. Um, and managers, particularly young, inexperienced leaders who are maybe in their first management role,
Mhm.
um, they want to make decisions that will keep the team happy, whatever that means. They want to be nice. They don't want to be tough. They don't want to cut to the chase. And, you know, and for some people that may work for a short while, and others, they're just finding it incredibly hard to sustain, right? So,
Yeah.
where's the balance between a good leader, a nice leader, an effective leader, manager? Um, and still achieving results in today's business.
Mhm.
What has been your experience with that?
Yeah, I think we're still, in as much as we're trying to work around how we manage teams,
Mm-hmm.
eventually it's how we manage people. And these days we're running away from managing people to managing the work. People can manage themselves.
Okay.
As a manager, focus on managing the work, then you lead the people.
Nice.
Uh, that's the difference. So in COVID, I know it took some time to adjust to that,
Mm-hmm.
where you can connect with people and let them lead the way. What being happy working from home means. For some people, it was great that they don't have to commute.
Yeah.
For some people who are living in a different circumstance, is they are missing something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
creating that happiness with a template is not something that works in all situations. We've had, as a coach working with teams, we've had to organize these. We used to have bring your own lunch,
Oh yeah.
where we just sit with the team
Oh yeah.
and have lunch. We make it open for those who want to just join. During COVID, first 2 weeks we couldn't do any of that. We usually have something like once or twice a week, depending on availability.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came up with the idea of we could just open up our Zoom and everybody bring their lunch and we eat. But there's difference. Before, we used to be able to buy lunch for everyone at least once in a month.
Yeah.
So we decided to, okay, you order from wherever you are and then just post the bill. I guess what I'm getting at is, if we are able to differentiate between managing the work and leading the people will take care of themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
then coming in with that leadership mindset, if you're lucky to have some uh, leading with coaching mindset,
Yeah.
then it actually helps to connect more with the people,
Right.
and they're able to be open, like what works for them, what does not work, who needs specific kind of attention,
Mm-hmm.
and who for what you care. For some people, like, don't treat me like a kid. I know what I am doing. Like
Yeah.
asking me how
Yeah.
I'm doing every day, like,
Yeah.
stop it. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So finding that balance,
Yeah.
and then living, you can manage the work. And what has worked in terms of managing the work is having progress status and everything available at a central place,
Mm-hmm.
where you're not chasing anyone. People can go and do what they have to do.
Correct. Yeah.
While you are still able, as a leader, you are still able to connect to the person.
Okay.
So that's what has helped me during this COVID, just
Okay.
making that separation between the work and the person.
How are you able to show compassion and empathy for the people who are working on a project without overstepping and treating them like, I don't know, I don't want to say children, but
Mhm, mhm.
how do you show that part, the human part of being in a connected relationship with your
Yeah.
colleagues without overdoing it?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. What has actually helped, I would say, it's not available everywhere, is the company has been very, very intentional about this. From day one, when COVID happened and when people started working at home, prioritize yourself, your family, then work.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, and you don't need your manager's approval for any of those.
Nice.
What we said is, if you are working in a team and there are things that you have to do with that somebody on the team is waiting on you for,
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, open conversation with those who are dependent on you and those who are dependent on your availability.
Yeah. Yep.
So nobody is chasing you for stuff. the company just made it, give everybody permission to say, you know what, my lunch is 2 hours because I have kids at home. I have to prepare the lunch and feed them. However, I'll be available between 5 and 7 to cover up on some of these things that may be required.
Right.
So
Right.
you make it a local conversation with your team. Your manager does not need to know. That's on one way. I won't say is directly on me. It's kind of this setup where the company made it easy for this to happen. Because people also have that permission, if something else is required, they know they can also reach out to you directly and say, here is my situation. I think avoiding using a general template for everyone,
Right.
for every request.
Right.
And when people notice that you're not using a general template, it creates that trust.
Yep.
That you will listen.
Point.
Yeah, you will listen, and then you will attend to them based on their specific needs, not on, oh, this is what we do here. Now fill this form and send it to me. We don't fill any forms.
So people are holding themselves accountable.
Exactly. One good example is, which is something I noticed, and I wish more companies actually do it, is when I was given a corporate card, I asked my manager, what is my limit?
What's the best restaurant in town?
Yeah, it's like limits. So you'll be in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. You would go for lunch. So what would you spend if you are paying from your pocket? That's your limit.
Yeah, I like
So,
that.
so I think in a way, the company has this giving permission for you to take responsibility and accountability. And I have discovered that works best.
Trust.
So when I work with my team, that is the kind of arrangement I have where it's back to you, okay, what do you think is right here? Like if you really feel that what is right is beyond what is written anywhere, I'm happy to take your case and have a conversation about it. So again, running from using templates to work with people and having custom.
So there's a lot of trust there.
Yep.
That must make it a very nice environment. People feel like they can be themselves and supported at the same time.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that is what the company is doing, and we do as people leader, people managers. That is where most attention is on. We do not have traditional kind of HR arrangement.
Yeah.
It's you deciding what works best for the team and taking accountability for that. The only caveat is your judgment is at stake. Your person is at stake, and I think people care more about that than the penalty from anywhere.
Yeah. One of the things I suppose I question, and I've been reading articles that there's even more productivity now that people are working, no commute, they can get settled into their home offices and so on, get more done. And people are saying they're far more productive, which in some cases it's surprising because they're juggling so many other things at home at the same time. And for the ones who are balancing, the deadlines and the output for everything in the business world, how do you balance, I suppose, how do you balance compassion for everyone's situation and the discipline to push
done.
things forward, right?
Yeah.
To make sure, yes, we're being supportive and we hear you and we can show empathy for your situation, but we got to get the job done. How do you balance that?
Yeah, business is about outcome.
It's still about outcome.
It's still about outcome. We can empathize as much as we want, but we have deliverables. We have something to work
Yeah.
on. In terms of how productive we've been, I think it depends on who you ask. Some people have been more more productive just because you're putting more hours does not mean that
Absolutely.
you are becoming more productive, because the opposite side of that is I've heard, maybe I didn't read the article myself, but I've heard that we're more productive but less innovative,
Okay.
which is we're just churning whatever
Things,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
That creativity that comes from interactions, direct interactions, and
Mm,
some things
mm,
that you
mm.
could get just by looking at what is happening around. I think that's missing. So it depends on who you ask, really. How do we ensure that we're working to meet our objectives, even though we want to give people the flexibility? Um, the way it has worked for us specifically is just who owns the targets,
Right.
who is determining what. I think the fact that we were able to step back and say before it gets better, it's going to get worse. I think that's the mindset we went in with.
Mm,
Allows people to actually step up to everybody's surprise. So, and I think we'll have gotten the opposite of that if you went with the mindset that, oh, we don't expect productivity to fall. Now you're working from home, we want everything to continue as it is. We understand where everyone is coming from, but we need this.
mm.
But the fact that people with is reverse psychology.
Yes.
People were given the opportunity to say, we understand things are going to fall behind before they get better. So if we have any of these deadlines that we need to renegotiate,
Right.
bring it forth. Let's
Right.
review it.
Right.
And as we're going through that, we found out that some people are just passionate about what they have set themselves up for, and they don't really want to negotiate that down. And some are even outperforming what the target was. So what has worked, and I'm being very specific here, this may not be something that anybody could apply, is just, again, giving that final word to people who are actually doing the work. Let them have a say in it. So they
Mm.
work around their calendars, they work around what they have to do at home, still get things done because they own that target. They know why it should be
Right.
done that way. They hold themselves responsible and accountable for those. I guess it will be opposite of that if somebody had mandated it.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that is mandated in my environment, if it is regulatory,
Mm-hmm.
we know that there will be a big fine or something that is outside of our control. And even then, the team involved is aware of these consequences. They are making trade-off based on that.
Right.
Um,
Right. There's some good advice in here for young entrepreneurs and for startups because, in the conversation I hear transparency, personal accountability, trust, right?
yep.
If you treat people with those things and show compassion for each of their situations, then the output is likely to be of a decent quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also maybe tolerance that of the 100 people, there may be one or two that will not reciprocate that trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So it won't be 100%. But I think there is more benefit because of just the number.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. See, you do have great nuggets of wisdom.
Not sure if this,
Fantastic.
not sure if this were wisdom. I'm just
Fantastic.
that's what I am
Yeah.
going through today, and what I have also learned from,
Yeah.
which I won't say I'm the architect, but if I have to do things,
Mm,
I now can differentiate between what has worked well
mm,
for me and people around me,
yeah.
and what I mean. I started work not here. I started work in Nigeria where the labor interaction is totally different.
Different.
There is disbalance, there is no control. The
Yeah.
employer controls everything.
Yeah. Very
You
top
live,
down.
yeah, and you live with fear.
Yeah.
Even though you are delivering, you're not a happy person. You don't even know what is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been able to see the two sides of this coin, and I'm saying that
Yeah.
if I were to choose, if I have the opportunity of setting up something new, I would go this way.
Yeah. And finally, I have one last question for you. Over the last 7 months, with all of the changes we've had to adapt to, what has been your personal biggest learning?
Or learning.
Yeah. What's been your biggest
I
learning
thought you,
moment?
I thought you were going to ask for the biggest challenge. And then you
No.
found it. Learning, okay.
Yeah. What was your learning? It was a big one for you the last 7 months as we've gone up and down through COVID.
Yeah, this is something I'm still going through. Just from my personality, I like to interact with people. Um, I think email can be intimidating when you receive this email and then you have to respond to it. So I realized that earlier on. So I try a lot to have conversations with people. And if we're eventually going to make a decision or write an email out, it will just be summary of what we have agreed. So I'm not putting anyone under any pressure of any email falling. So for me, having to put everything now in writing or have a call, which everybody's 8 hours is blocked. So you just have to put some things down as email with detailed instructions. That has been a change of work style for me.
Okay.
And I also learned during the process that it's actually I can do it if I if I spend the right time, the right amount of time to do it.
Yeah.
Be- because before that I would have swear that that's not my style. I don't know how to just shoot email on everything and drive accountability through that. I find the human touch very very easy to deal with.
Yeah.
But now I think I am coping with that. I have learned to ask even within the email, still put my coaching hat and ask the questions and
Yeah.
get the input
Yeah.
my way. So that's one learning. I'm not sure if it is the biggest learning, but it's one learning that comes to mind when I look at what has changed for me from shifting to office to working alone in this basement.
So making emails really count.
Yes,
Yep. Okay. Communication always comes back to effective communication, doesn't it? That's
you're
my
right.
world. Just communicating effectively. You could send
Eh,
3 emails and get nothing, or you
Yes,
could carefully create one.
create one and get the right answers you're looking
Yeah.
for. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even better,
And
a
not
phone
create
call.
panic because if you send 3 emails, like you
Yeah.
just send people into panic. What's
I'm
happening
old
here?
fashioned. I still like a phone call.
Phone call. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super old fashioned. To me, so much
Yeah.
gets covered. You can follow up with the email, but for me, phone
Most
calls.
most of the people I work with, if you call them, they ask you why you are calling. Like what happened?
Yeah.
There is
Something
flag.
wrong.
There
Is
is
something wrong?
yeah. Why are you calling?
Well, I guess,
It's
people are
strange.
scattered all over.
Yeah.
So,
Just
but
like
still,
why?
anyhow, it's really shifted the different, yeah, the use of the telephone. Anyhow, thank you
Yeah.
very much for your time. I really
I
appreciate.
hope it's useful. For
Yes,
me, I found it
yes,
interesting just be able to speak to this. I may not have actually thought about these questions before now. So
yeah. No, absolutely. It's just, it's for people to just understand that there are different points of view and different ways of doing things. And it just opens up perspectives. That's
mhm,
all
mhm.
these conversations are meant to do. So
Great.
Thank you
No
for your
problem.
time.
Welcome. No problem.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
rest of the day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.